I've been away for a month and I've come back and my battery isn't just flat, it's been killed. It's an AGM, a glass matte battery, an Optima yellow top, and this truck has killed 3 of them in a row at just around the 2-year mark now. Something tells me I've got a problem. Alright, now a little bit of the history of the truck first. Basically all of this, apart from 2 of these wires which I added, or 3 of them which I added, was done by the police to add their stuff on. It's an ex-police vehicle. I've added a dual battery system and a amplifier that's powered off here, and the dual battery system has a manual cutoff at the moment to isolate it from the front. So I know it's not the rear dual battery system because, yes, it's isolated and it's happened. So my problem is either in the stock electronics or in the stereo amplifier that I've added, and I've got to find it, or the lights. There's a parasitic drain somewhere. Now, I don't know where the parasitic drain is from, and I don't know how much it is. First things first, I'm going to show you what has happened to this battery. Turn the voltmeter on, check if I can see the screen, and you can see it's resting at 4.2 volts. The battery will not take a charge. I'm going to try force charging it at 0.5 volt off the benchtop power supply, but first I need that power supply to tell me what my parasitic load is. I'm going to get it, I'm going to set it up, and I'm going to provide 12 volts, 12.5 volts to the electronics. I'm going to leave the car off and the ignition will be off, and we'll see what the load is on the benchtop power supply, how much current is being used by the car. That'll tell me what the parasitic load is. Once I've done that, I've got to figure out where that load is coming from. And as you can see, it's a bit of a conglomeration over here. I will probably try to make some sort of a bus for the positive rail system. But before I do that, I want to try to isolate where that's coming from. Then I want to take it down to Battery Business down in Warriewood. I've had a chat to them and they're going to check over what the parasitic load is too, because they've been supplying these batteries and a lot of the equipment for the dual battery setup. That is that. So let's get on with it. I'll get the benchtop power supply set up and we'll see what the parasitic load is, and then move on to the next step of finding out where it comes from. Quickly before we move on, sorry, I know I do this all the time. I just want to point out the battery's age. It was bought in the 4th month of 22. It is now the 2nd month of 24. So just under 2 years again. Okay, I've got this hooked up now. So as you can see, I hope you can see, 12.5 volts, 4 amps limit. Now, we'll connect it over here onto the positive bus, or the terminal, and I'm connected here to the negative terminal. So, pardon the birds, and pardon the microphone, the Road Go transmitter just didn't want to turn on. I turn on, so I've just come in to quickly check if there is a continuity there, and no continuity there. That should light these gauges up and show me the voltage. Let's turn on the park lights. Whether or not there's a key in it. So I've got to rejig this, I think. One moment, please. Right, I'm having to hold this connection here. I've checked it with the multimeter to make sure I had good continuity. And you can see it's sitting there with nothing running. There is a 0.133 amp or 1.5 watts, 1.7 watts, 1.6 watts being used by the vehicle. And that's enough to discharge your battery. That's too much. It should be much lower than that. Something's up. So now I've got to go through, take this apart, and pretty well just sit 12 volts on each one of these as a separate circuit and see what's using what. A fun job, for sure. Alright, I'm going to start with this one here because it's the easiest to check. 0 amps drawn. Now what is that line? I'm pretty sure that line is ancient and not put in by me. I was going to say maybe it's the one that runs to the amplifier. It's a trigger line that runs to the amplifier, but I don't think it is. As you can see, there are numerous lines here. Battery, not entirely sure. Probably winch. Actually, I thought the winch went down here. So that runs down into the main box. Okay, so that's factory. That surprisingly thin line. God knows. Another thin line here. That's the amp there. Oh, it's aged badly, isn't it? Alright, let's see what's taken up juice. I'm going to start by doing the most obviously not defective one, and that is the dual battery setup, because it's not connected. Yes, it's not connected. Rule that out. We'll take this one. Turn the power back on. Connect up. Nothing. Okay. This one. Turn the connection. Power on. Okay, this line is drawing 0.2 of a watt. Get the camera for you. So as you can see. Okay, so that's this one here. We've got to find out what that is. So we've checked that one. Let's try the amplifier, which is good connection. Power's still on, whoopsie. And connect. Oh. So yeah, not really seeing any power there. There was a little bit of spike when I connected it, but then nothing. So we're going to say that's not our parasitic draw. So far we've only accounted for 0.2. Let's try the stock line. Make sure there's a good connection. Is it recording still? Okay. Oh, okay. There's something on that, but now the bloody thing slipped off. Yeah, okay, it's the car. There was 1 watt came up, but damaging in the end. Turn this off. I need to get a good connection somewhere. So there you can see. Sorry, is that 1.3 amp? Sorry, 1.5 watts, and 0.25 or 1. Words. You can see the numbers. Words are not working. Jet lag. Sorry. So we have a slight load off this, where most of our load is being presented by the car itself somehow. So I'm going to go off camera and run through the rest of it and see if I've got any more parasitic loads. I'm also going to get some yellow tape and mark these 2 lines. Don't like that it's the car. I was hoping it was something I'd done. You know, that is easier to fix. Well, that was quick, just to check the rest of the main sort of terminal in one go. I just slapped it on here and... Alright, so we're talking about an extremely small load for the remainder. 0.002 of an amp and 0.02 of a watt. So which is probably normal. That's, you know, there is a very, very low draw from a car, like, at all times, but not in the range that we're getting here. So this is fine for the rest of the bus, but I've got a problem here and a problem here. Yay. So I'm getting 14 volts now, or 14.2 as it seems. Actually, let me show you here. You can see right here, hopefully 14.2. However, the alternator does seem to be having an issue. It's making a squeak, which you can see here.
And also it took quite a while for it to actually start charging. It didn't kick in for a little bit. I think it's on its last legs. So I'm going to get the alternator replaced, but I'm pretty sure that's not what killed the battery, because it was still charging, and it's charging now. So, yes, funny story. I came back and I had a killed battery. So I started diagnosing what was the parasitic load, and I found a parasitic load. But it turns out that wasn't what killed my battery. What killed my battery was that the two interior lights were on, and they are LEDs, but still a month of being on. And the back door was left open by someone who got something out and didn't close the door. So, yes, I didn't have that bad of a drain. However, I did find that I have that drain, as you can see in the video. So I am going to have to diagnose what it was, although it doesn't seem like it's going to be totally time critical. So if you look here, you can see these lines are marked with the yellow tape. Now this one unfortunately runs down and into this here box of relays, and we got everything in here from the glow plug, ABS, ignition switch, headlamps, power socket, defogger, tail lamp right and left, hazard, blah 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 blah. And then we've got this other box down here, right here, that is connected, and that's got, the AC cart fan, radiator fan, shift lock radiator fan, defogger, wipers, headlamp, theft 1, theft 2, among other things, aircon, fog lamps and audio, blah 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 blah, heated seats, which I don't have. The one I'm worried about pulling to test is this one and this one. Well, the two I am worried are these two. The other problem with this setup here is, of course, that this agglomeration of wires goes across this box and across this box, and it really could be run better. To test this, I have to disconnect the battery and put the power supply back on the vehicle. You could do it with this inline. You just sort of get a bulb, so you disconnect your negative, right? And then you get what I'll be calling the FPV scene a smoke stopper, the old-fashioned ones, where they basically are just a lamp in the line, and put that between the cables and the terminal, and then you can proceed to you get like your parasitic drawer will show up in the lamp, and then you can proceed to pull fuses. If you go, but in my case, I'm just going to use the power supply to show the actual current that's being taken. Once you've gone through all these fuses, if you don't find it, there's of course the box that's in the car, and you're going to have to, when you do that, of course, excuse me, you're going to have to spoof this trigger, this button here, so that it thinks the door's closed and it doesn't use power. Now, something that's occurred to me, OBD2 scanner, that will drain your battery if you leave it in. What I'll do now is I'll get set up, and then I'm going to sort of show you one of them. From that point on, I'll probably do the rest off camera and get a YouTube video going or something like that, because it's going to be a long process of just taking one out, seeing what happens, putting it back in, taking another one out, seeing what happens, putting it back in. I'm waiting for that load to disappear here. Yes. Right, so I've got it hooked up, and there we have it. Sorry about the wind. Looking at just about 110 milliamps of draw consistently being placed upon the battery, and the vehicle is completely off. And that includes... Wait, are the doors all closed? One of the doors is not closed. Yep, so that's basically the same. It's gone down sweet FA. So yep, that's the draw when the vehicle is just sitting there. Now, I've got this open here, and this line runs into this box and is connected commonly throughout it. Let's start with the power socket. I can't get it out. I need to get a tool. There is a tool. The truck comes with a tool. You just got to get the tool out. There you go. And this is meant to be the tool for retrieving. But as you can see, oh, there you go, got it out. And we have no change. Okay. Yep, that fell on the ground somewhere, damn it. On top of the armour. That'll be right. Oh, I'm sans 1.5 amp fuse. Anyway, I will go and find that fuse there, little 5 amp to go back in there. But that is the process. You just go through, take out a fuse, put it back in, don't drop it. Yes. And find your draw. I'll keep going till I find it. Okay, I found some of the drain. It's coming from a little tiny bit. It's coming from the audio circuit, but it's sweet bugger all. Like it's from 0.103, 109 down to 0.9697. So it's not the main draw. I guess that's just a very low passive draw, although it is part of the draw. Let's keep going. Rightio, that's the draw. I think I've found it now. If I pull this bad boy here, there you go. You can see it has dropped right off to 0.032 of an amp. So that circuit is this circuit here. FL 50 amp bat, which is kind of non-descriptive because I got battery here at 100 amp and I've got the glow plug one here. So that is my problem. I'm going to get something and mark it as such, and then it's now time to go see the boys and see what we can do about this. But unless they come up with a different problem, I think I will call that the end of my diagnosis here. Okay, so there is my diagnosis for now, at least somewhat of a diagnosis, because I'm not sure if that leads on to the next fuse box inside the car, or if that is independently sort of sourced the power to that other fuse box. I'm going to have to get some expert help, but now at least I know where it is and how much it is. And I suppose if I want to store my car for a long time, what I need to do to minimize that, or just unplug the battery. Anyway, stay tuned for part 2 where we go down and figure out what to do about the problem. For now, I hope this helps you trying to diagnose where your parasitic load is coming from if you're having this problem. And of course, if you have been unfortunate like me and left your car with relatives who have decided not to turn the car on for a month, or maybe even close the door when they got something out of it and leave the lights on, that may kill your battery, and the problem may not be a parasitic load, but idiocy. Yes. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. Yes, I still love them, even though they did that to my poor truck. Peace out. Catch you next time.